piece is Why Can't You Stop Stuttering Like That Guy in King's Speech? Please welcome Nina G.
Hello everyone. I am the Bay Area's only stuttering stand-up comic. If you stutter, I'm an inspiration. If you don't, I'm just kind of an angry bitch. And I get asked a lot of times. People think that I don't actually stutter. And if that's true, then I'm the Meryl Streep of stuttering, because you can't stutter this good. And then also after shows, people come up to me and they say, "Hey, how'd you come up with that stuttering character?" "Oh, I came up with it in the 3rd grade. I thought it'd be a lot of fun to have the little boys make fun of me, and for people to hang up on me because they think I'm a dropped cell phone call. I thought that'd be a lot of fun." So, fluent people ask a lot of very strange questions, and these are just some of the comments that I've gotten. And that really isn't a shock, considering that you guys in the media haven't seen very positive images of people who stutter. And the images that you have seen have been from films like My Cousin Vinny and Do the Right Thing and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So most of the images are either we are laughing stocks or tragic figures, or we kill ourselves. Yeah, not the most positive images. And in fact, the most positive image that I saw was on the Howard Stern show. Yeah, and it was when I was about 24. He had on a girl, and it was the first time that I'd seen a woman on TV stutter, and she had worked at a hot dog stand, and she wore a bikini, and she was very hot. And when a feminist who has a disability says that the only place she's seen herself reflected in the media is a Howard Stern show, you know there's a problem out there. There's something very messed up. So, and that's why the King's Speech has been such an important film, because it's the first time that we are seen as a hero, and that our feelings and our thoughts on stuttering have been represented. And that's why it's been so embraced by the stuttering community. And the night of the Oscars, I went to my very first Oscar party, and it was held at a friend's house, and all of the stutterers got together. And I also looked on Facebook. And when it won Best Screenwriter, Best Actor, and Best Film, all the stutterers went nuts. They did. One of my friends, Steve, in New York, he had written on Facebook that he was going to go in his car and drive around, honk the horn, and yell out the window. So we were pretty excited. He's also a Yankees fan, so that explains some of that. But it's the response from fluent people has been a little interesting, because at first I had people coming up to me saying, "Hey, I saw the King's Speech." Yeah. Okay, what does that mean? And I asked my Asian American friends, did people go up to you and say, "I saw the Joy Luck Club"? sure how to respond there. But there are two other responses, and those are the ones that I really wanted to take some time and talk about. One of the responses is suddenly everyone is an expert on stuttering. They see one film and they're an expert. And this I even saw with some people who are like doctors and social workers, that they base what they know about stuttering on the King's Speech. And part of that is that stuttering is a trauma-based disability. Now, a social worker basing their opinion on stuttering from the King's Speech is like a marine biologist basing what they know about sharks from the movie Jaws. Okay? It's like that. It's like a paleontologist basing theories about dinosaurs on Jurassic Park. It's the same thing. And the King's Speech it's the techniques used in that film were very cutting edge. In 1939. That's when they thought that stuttering, and this comes from the psychoanalytic theories, that they thought stuttering was a result of having an anal retentive and anal sadistic personality. Okay, so what they thought was that we had verbal constipation. Okay, and their words, and our words are like our poop, and that we're holding them in. And this is true. This isn't jokes. And the anal sadistic part came in because we are torturing our listeners with our poop, with our words. So I guess that means that my stand-up is basically me throwing shit at the audience. Just not how I like to think about it. So, and in reality, now there's been some advances from the 1940s, and we now have brain imaging. And the studies on brain imaging say that it is something right around here. It's in the left frontal to temporal lobe, and it's right next to an area called Broca's area, and we have a little bit more of a sensitivity there. And this is why when we use the left side of our brain, then we stutter. But if we use the right side of our brain, then we may not stutter. And did anyone know that Marilyn Monroe had stuttered? So some of you yes, and some of you know. That's why she talked like this. Because when you talk like this, you don't use the left side of your brain. You use the right side of your brain. Yeah. And once I was at a workshop, and I was trying to explain that to a guy, and he said, "Oh, well, that's kind of sexy. You ought to talk like that all the time." Yeah, because I really feel I can be taken seriously talking like this. And I told him, I said, "No, that's cool. I'd rather just stutter." Thank you. And then the other response that I also get is, well, I saw the King's Speech, so why can't you just stop stuttering like the guy in the King's Speech? Which if there's nothing else here that you take home, there is one message that I have, okay? And that is this. King George in the King's Speech was not fucking cured. He still fucking stuttered. He did one speech fluently, and he even stuttered there. And see, all of you other fluent people think that he was fluent in that speech. He had stuttered on a couple words, and his speech therapist said, "Hey, you had stuttered on this," and he said, "Oh no, I stuttered on those so people knew who it was." Okay, that's a really important line, and that shows that he wasn't cured. But people saw the ending, and they thought, "Oh, he can overcome it, and so can everyone else." And the other part is, not everybody who stutters wants to overcome it. And some of us don't want to be concerned about how we talk, but we want to be concerned about what we say. And for me, I choose to educate my environment instead. So I tell people to just wait for what I'm going to say, and to not interrupt me, and to make eye contact. There's a thing that fluent people do, is they look away as if they're ashamed, or as if they're going to catch stuttering poo with their eyes. That's not true. And the other thing is I don't think that King George had this as an option. King George was going up against Hitler. All I'm doing is ordering a pastrami sandwich. I think I can stutter on that. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about is I wanted to share my favorite stuttering story with you. And this is a story that's important because it taught me that I could stutter. And this happened in 7th grade, where in 6th grade I ran for student body counselor. And I did a speech that I didn't stutter whatsoever on. Because I took out every single sound that I might stutter on, and every single phrase that would trip me up, and I went completely covert. And I thought, okay, so now all that's done. Then in 7th grade we had, well, it was Catholic school, and they make a big deal out of everything. And we had an inauguration, where all we had to do was to stand up in front of everyone and say, "I name here." Okay? So in the practices, in the rehearsals, we were practicing all of that, and every time that they came to me, I said, "I'm Nina G." Okay, and stuttered. And the other kids laughed and teased me. But there was one 8th grade boy who came up to me afterwards. He said, "Okay, so can you say ninja?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Okay, so if you can say ninja, then you just change it and you say Nina instead." Okay, thank you. I'll try that. Thank you. Some people always give you advice that isn't very helpful. And so when the day came, and this was like after a week or two of practicing, and my parents driving me to speech therapy, to seeing my speech therapist, Elaine. After all of that, I got up on stage in front of the whole school, in front of the priests, in front of the administrators, in front of the Alameda Time Star, and stuttered on my name. And in my 7th grade girl mind, I thought this was the end of the world. I thought this was, I would have to transfer schools, everyone's going to make fun of me, and that it would be published in a newspaper article. These are all of the things going on in my mind. And after this ceremony, I was walking around, and one of the girls in my class, Sarah Pirelli, came up to me, and she said, "Hey, Nina, good job." I'm all, "Huh? What?" She's all, good job." I'm all, "Okay, thank you." And I walked away, and luckily, so Sarah's a teacher now. And so I thought, okay, this is weird. People are being nice. Okay, this is something I wasn't expecting. And then I was talking to the 8th grade boy who had told me to say ninja, and a 2nd grade boy walked up, and he said, "Hey, Nina." And the 8th grade boy gently knelt down and looked the 2nd grader in the eye and said, "If you tell her that ever again, I'm going to tell everyone that your penis is this big." And I was so touched. That was the nicest thing anyone ever did. And that day, I learned two things. That I could stutter openly and be okay about it, and live. The other thing was, if anyone ever makes fun of you, you tell them they have a small penis. Thank you, guys.